If you were thinking about getting a Galaxy Watch 6 or Watch 6 Classic, I can say, yeah, go ahead and do it because I am used to using this Apple Watch Ultra right here. And the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic for me has been amazing, except for one thing. And this is what it is. So, right here, there's a lot of chrome right here, and the gap underneath the strap there on both sides. There's two problems here. The one problem is my wrist is probably too small. I've got about a 7.5 inch wrist, something like that. And an 8 inch wrist might be perfect. But for mine, it's not. So I can solve that by just putting a different strap on there, and that's an easy fix. So that's not a problem for me. I love the brushed metal on the sides. The problem is the chrome right there. Somebody said in one of my videos in the comments that this chrome part right here and on the other side over here is in fact plastic. I have a major problem with that. I can't have a watch or a phone that are made out of plastic. Mainly, the reason is I work outside for a living. That thing will get destroyed in the matter of a month. That is not okay with me. You know, I'm used to using titanium with the case on it, of course, but a titanium watch like this thing is so durable. It's no problem. But if Samsung was to make this thing plastic, that would be a problem for me. I couldn't do it, and I couldn't recommend it to anybody else. Come to find out, it's not plastic, it's stainless steel. All right? I checked to see if this thing was magnetic because sometimes steel is, if it has enough nickel in it. I believe that's the right way I'm thinking about it. But nonetheless, it didn't really stick to it, which kind of concerned me because that surface is rounded, and which causes to look like it's plastic. It totally looks like it. And it almost feels like it if you scratch on it and touch it with your fingers and all that good stuff. But it is supposed to be metal. So I'm assuming, hoping that it is truly metal. But I had this watch boxed up. I had it ready to go. I was gonna send this back out and not keep this thing because I can't have a watch that's plastic. So other than that, the watch is amazing. The way it fits, the battery life is really good. Some questions that you guys might have. Is it as good as an Apple Watch? If you're an Apple Watch user and you're going over to a Samsung phone, do you have something that you can actually use? And I would, without a doubt, say yes. This watch is great, and I would say in some cases, some instances, it is actually better. Okay, so for me, the round, the wheel up on top, the little turny thing, and I always forget what it's called. You guys can tell me what it's called in the comments. That thing is almost, it's great, but I would say it's not a necessity. So if you want to get the other watch, the regular Watch 6 or even the 5 Pro, which has really good battery life, I would say go for one of those instead, maybe. The extra money spent on this is not like it's not worth it. I think it is worth it to get this one, the Classic. But they do have the smaller version. This is the 47 millimeter version, and they have the 43. I think that I probably could get away with, for myself, getting the 43 millimeter version and being just fine. So I have a 44 millimeter coming in the regular Watch 6, and I really am tempted. I was so tempted to get the $499, so $500 5 Pro, just to see what that one was like, because it's got the capacitive touch wheel on the outside, and I feel like, why isn't that better? Why isn't the capacitive touch better than this? When it comes to moving parts, that takes more to make it work, right? So it has more potential to actually break, correct? So it seems like that would be the way to go. I'm not sure though. You guys tell me if you used a 5 Pro and if you like the difference. I looked at a lot of different videos to try to find the difference between the 5 Pro and the Classic. And everybody says, oh, they want the Classic back. You know, when they went from the 4 Classic and they went to the 5 and they had no Classic, it was just a regular, you know, capacitive touch on the 5 Pro. And then they came out with the 6 Classic and everybody, it just went crazy over it, the wheel. And I have to try the other one, the 6 that's coming in that doesn't have the wheel, to see if there's any difference. I will update you guys when I get to experience it. But I'm new to these watches, and I've used an Apple Watch since 2014, and this thing, I was expecting it to not be, not only not as good, but way worse than the Apple Watch. I didn't expect it to be good at all. At first, when I first got out of the box, it was a little glitchy. The battery life wasn't good because it was doing all the updates and downloads of all the apps and all that stuff and setting it up. But now that the watch understands how I use it, it's working great. So I don't know. I can't recommend this enough, I think, for now. I don't want to push you guys in the wrong direction. I don't want to say, you know, this is the greatest thing ever, but I am completely happy with using this watch. And I don't know, I might have to go with something else and try the 5 Pro just to see what that's all about. Yeah, because do I need all these watches? No, heck no. Nobody needs to have a bunch of watches. Nobody needs to have a bunch of phones. But I feel like if somebody's going to do reviews of technology like this, maybe I should be picking up these kind of things. I don't know. I know you don't really care too much about that, but that's what I'm coming from. And hopefully I can help you guys in these videos figure out what it is that you want to buy with your hard-earned money, because these things are not cheap. And my goal is to give you my best opinion, my experience with it, and hopefully give you some sort of actual specs on these things, like not the internals, you know, the new Exynos and all that. So it matters, right? But to an extent. So what you guys hopefully would want to know is battery life and the way it feels and the way this thing performs. And so far, all of that stuff has been great. It's been good. I really can't recommend it enough. And I think that you guys will be happy with going with this watch if you end up with the Samsung device. Yeah, the tracking, the heart rate monitor, the ECG, the whatever all that other stuff is, the sleep monitoring is really good, it seems. It's not going to replace anything that is going to be like actually medically made technology to monitor your heart and see your rhythm, heart rhythm and all that stuff. I wouldn't recommend that. But it's going to work to give you a rough idea of how things are looking in your health, right? And in your life. And it's cool because a watch like this will give you a reminder, because it's always on you. Hey, you probably need to get moving, or hey, this is how much you've actually walked today, or you're sleeping pretty good. Like, that's one cool thing about this watch is it tells me when I had a good night's sleep, like when I went to bed on time and things like that, because consistency, I guess, matters. And I didn't really understand that because, yeah, I just never looked it up. But so as far as what Samsung says, consistency in your sleep, like when you go to bed and when you wake up, being consistent. Like, let's say, for instance, if you go to bed late during the weekend and wake up late during the weekend, when it comes to Monday, you actually have what's called like a social jet lag, which causes you to just not be cognitively there as much as you probably should be. Like, you know, jet lag would do to you if you went to, let's say, from California over to New York and have a 3-hour difference, right? So anyway, yeah, hopefully this helps, guys. And my name is Mike. This is Something Mobile, and my goal on this channel is to help you find that phone, case, and face to fit your life and style, and also watches. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.